it's Miss C. So today we're going to talk about the second part of our meaningful object project. So meaningful object, what you did last time on the computer was you took a photograph of the person that this object that you're drawing connects you to, either a picture of the two of you together or just one of them by themselves, and you posterized it and got it emailed to us so we could have something kind of like this for you to start from. So this is me and my sister, if you remember. And it's one of my favorite pictures of the two of us together, but my object is an object that represents our relationship, mainly in that we are twins and we are constantly together. I love my sister so much. Anyway, so you have that, and what we're going to be working on today is our background for our image. So all we need is the printout of our posterized image, which you should have emailed to us for us to print. If you haven't done that yet, then shame on you. You're gonna lose a day of work just because you didn't get your email working. But yeah, so we should have printed that for you. If you can't get us to print it, you can print it in the library, or if you have a printer at home, you can print it at home as well. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be tracing it onto our background paper. We're gonna have to make up a little bit of the edge because they're not quite the same size, if you can tell. Our regular piece of paper is just a little bit smaller. So we're gonna have to make up a little bit of the area, but that does mean we got a little bit of wiggle room to move this stuff around or like tilt it, etc. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then we're gonna be watercoloring or otherwise giving some kind of liquid color to our background. Probably not acrylic paint. Acrylic paint's gonna be a little too thick, but watercolor or marker or water-soluble colored pencil or water-soluble graphite, any of those things that are thinner water materials should work just fine. All right, so we're gonna start with our posterized image. So the reason I'm having you start with your posterized image is because this is our values that we're gonna be using. Because we're gonna be tracing this onto our background paper just to save on time and energy, what we need to do with this picture is we need to kind of outline all of our shade differences. So for example, over here on my face, I have this very bright white zone that I'm going to outline for myself with just like a plain Sharpie, nothing crazy. And then I have my lighter gray area that's gonna come around. Got this little bin. I'm just gonna be doing this with all of my shapes. Be careful because it is very easy to not be paying attention and to accidentally go all over the place or whatnot. You are literally just tracing these. Where you have scrumbly bits like this, don't worry about making everything exact. We're not trying to do that. That will make your life a pain in the butt. But following a general outline of that sort of stuff works out just fine. So over here, I've got this general outline of this stuff. But all of this excess scrumbly bits in the middle, I'm not gonna worry about. That's not something that I'm going to give many hoots to. So I'm going to continue doing that and just tracing out all of these shapes on here to make them a little bit easier to see when I go to trace onto my regular paper. So I'll be right back with you. All right, so here, if you come in close to the faces, you can see how I've just traced around all of the major shadows and shapes to make them easier to see when I start tracing this in a light box. I did, however, start tracing my background before I remembered I don't need it, so ignore that. It doesn't happen. Just worry about your people. Make sure that since you're doing a people that they are pretty well zoomed in. If you need to adjust your editing and all of that, do so. But yeah, I've traced out all of my major shapes as best I could with the Sharpie. Some of them I won't need to have traced on the light box as much, like these super dark ones next to super light areas probably don't need to be traced, but I did it just to be safe. Also, again, be aware that I have smoothed out a lot of the grittier edges. This isn't an exactly perfect science or edit. And we don't need it to be. That is what you are there to do. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and this to my light box to trace. And I'm gonna figure out where I want them to go. I also need a small piece of tape to tape this in, to tape this down so that it won't move on me. You can kind of see all the lines that I traced right here on the back. If you think you've forgotten a line, this is the easiest way to check. Flip it over. Whatever's leaked will tell you the truth.